So that's when I slid into his DMs.
I honestly didn't think I had a chance. I think we should tell the story of like the first day that you came over.
God. You're gonna embarrass me.
I gotta love me before I try to look for love from someone else. Yeah. What's up, guys?
What's up?
My name is Oscar.
And I'm Anna.
And we want to welcome you to the We're Getting Married and Want to Talk About It podcast. This first episode is literally our little pilot episode where we're just going to sit down and talk about what we have started planning as of just like a week or so ago that we decided we're gonna start planning.
This coming year.
We're doing it.
Because work gets in the way.
Yes.
You know?
Before we start, let's explain the structure too real quick. So basically we're going to explain who we are, how we met, and then we're going to go into the next section of the podcast where we're going to discuss the current wedding planning. So like what we've looked into, the pricing, the venues that we're going to be touring here very soon.
We found all these little resources, these vendors.
We also have a lot of experience filming weddings, so we have a lot of
vendor friends.
Yeah, and we also have a lot of insight from the vendor side.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be really cool to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, we've been on the other side of, you know, weddings in terms of like the facilitating of services, right? So we know what makes things stressful, what makes things easy.
Which is why we're having a small wedding.
Yes.
Because we've heard way too many times that big weddings are insanely stressful and they can't enjoy their day as fully as they wanted to.
Right.
So.
There's just so many moving elements. And especially if you don't have a wedding planner.
Oh my God. Yeah. Whenever somebody tells me they don't have a wedding planner, I'm like,
yeah, we used to not accept wedding clients when they would be like, we don't have wedding planner.
We're like, well, that automatically assumes that you're going to use the photographer or videographer to become the wedding planner that day and then coordinate everything.
Exactly. And then the stress and pressure of moving things along, you know, as they should go is placed on us, the photographers and the videographers.
I've never once seen a wedding where there was no wedding planner and the wedding day went smooth.
Right.
It was always late.
Everything was late. Nobody knew what was going on. Yeah. And of course, they turn around and look at the only vendors there.
Yep,
and so we got we got our cameras and we're like, okay, now let's
do this now.
Now let's orchestrate the entire wedding on top of making sure that we don't miss the most important shots of the day.
Yeah.
Stressful. Yeah. We'll talk about that, and then we will move into the reflection and relationships section of the podcast, where we're going to ask ourselves 2 cute questions and then 2 challenging and thought-provoking questions.
Let's get started.
So you jumped into my DMs.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
Because usually it's the guy that always reaches out to girls. But okay, so the reason this happened is back 7 or almost 8 years ago now, I used to do cover songs and stuff like that on Facebook, and I would share it with my followers. And number one, I had no idea that Oscar was following me.
I don't know how we became friends.
I don't either, but we were friends on Facebook, and I would post these covers. And one day when I posted one, I was very proud of it, by the way, Oscar commented on it, and he said, hey, this is a great video, but I feel like if you had a microphone, this video would sound better because your voice is so powerful that it's distorting the audio and it's making it sound weird. And I'm like, wow, is that a pickup line? Because it really did not work. And so I didn't even comment back because I was actually kind of mad at him for even saying that. But I was like, whatever, it's fine. Like, not everybody's going to like my stuff. And then a few days go by and I'm like looking at my video again. And as I'm looking at it, I'm like reading the comments, and then I see his comment and I'm like, oh yeah, like what does he even know about video? What does he even know about singing? And so I go on his Facebook profile and I'm looking through his videos, and I see that he does sing and he plays guitar and he's really good and he has great audio equipment, and he was recording on your Canon camera?
Yeah, I had a little DSLR. So my production skills have always been top tier for for the level that I was at back then.
Yeah, so I was like immediately like, okay, fine. I think this guy knows what he's talking about. So that's when I slid into his DMs.
Yeah, but in my comment too, though, I mean, I was praising you. I was like, "Oh,
You
you're so
were.
good.
You're
You're
like, "You're so
amazing." Because I
good.
did. You are great, and
Thank
I
you,
was,
love.
I was like, "Man, this girl's so good, and like she's so great at piano and like singing." And but when you would belt, right? When you would just like get that note out there with a lot of power,
Yeah.
the phone microphone could not handle it. That thing would shake for its life.
Oh, no.
And so, like all I was saying was like, hey, let's, link up if you ever need to, or if you need some recommendations on microphones, there's some really good ones. And, then you'll get like a really good recording, whether you sing real soft or when you sing really loud.
Yeah.
And, it'll just make things better for your videos.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what I left. And of course, Anna, I can see now being like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, who is this guy?
You could have just said something nice in the comment and then said the rest
like
in the message.
backhanded compliment. You're really good, but like you need a better mic.
You're good, but you need help.
So yeah, I slid into his DMs and I sent him a video of me singing, and you were like, "Oh, sounds great. If you ever want to come by to my studio, come through. Like, I would love to sing with you." And that's basically where everything started.
Yeah. When I was saying these things to Anna, I knew that she was like this beautiful girl that had a lot of potential for there to be a lot of guys in her DMs and blowing her up and, had a lot of attention. And I was genuinely messaging her with no intent of hooking up or dating, because I honestly didn't think I had a chance.
Yeah.
Well,
that is so crazy to me because you are so handsome. But like you are. And like that is so crazy to me that you think this way.
I don't necessarily think it was because I didn't think I was handsome.
Uh-huh.
It was just I was in a period in my life where I finally started to say, look, I got to love me before I try to look for love from someone else, because it was always the other way around for me. I was looking for some sort of fulfillment. And when you stumbled upon my life via Facebook and we started like messaging, I was number one saying like, you know what, this girl's, probably out of my league. She's a beautiful white girl. Like, you seemed like just, I don't know, so out of reach, especially because I had established in that part of my life, you know what, like work on yourself first and then you'll find someone that's on that same level. But like, if you don't know what that level is for you, then like how are you going to see it in someone else, like that they're a good person working on themselves and that they're ready for a relationship. And so all of this started happening where Anna reached out, we started talking about music and linking up just to make music. And
we were friends for like a month. We would hang out. I remember the first time I met you, and it felt like it's almost like we've known each other for a really long time. And normally I don't get like that with like anybody. It was like an immediate click. I knew exactly what to talk to you about. Like, you made me laugh.
It was never awkward.
Never awkward. And I remember when I left, I was like, oh, I like really enjoyed hanging out with you. And I want to continue hanging out with you. And I think we hung out like twice a week for a month or so. And then, one day we went out to dinner and we came home from dinner and we kissed for the first time, and it was like little fireworks.
It was magic.
It was magic. And I loved it. And that's basically, I think, I can't remember. It was so long ago. I can't remember if we started dating right then and there or we waited a while.
I don't remember either. But I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. I think we should tell the story of like the first day that you came over.
God. Don't say that. You're going to embarrass me. I meant really well by this, okay? I swear I wasn't trying to be like, what's the word?
Racist.
I wasn't trying to be. I was trying to be sweet. Okay?
Okay. Here's the story. Here's how I met my fiance, my future wife, for the first time in person. We had been messaging on Facebook, talking about linking up to make music together. She sings, plays piano. I used to sing and play guitar, and I had a bunch of like audio equipment, and I was like, hey, come over, we'll make music, and it'll be a lot of fun. And so she agrees, and on the day that she comes, she knocks on the door, and I open it, and she's like, hi, it's so nice to meet you in person. We give ourselves a hug. And then right when we're about to start walking in, she actually goes, also, I said hello to your family members over there, to your relatives right there in the corner. And I looked behind her, and there's these two Mexican construction workers sitting on like some bricks out in front of like the sidewalk area. I think they were with like the city.
No, they were doing plumbing.
I don't know.
They were doing plumbing on Oscar's like yard.
They were doing some sort of work.
Don't ask me. Don't ask me why 7 years ago or 8 years ago I fucking did that. Like, who? I go, hi, I met your family. And I thought it was weird because I go, hi to them. And then they just looked at me like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then I go, oh, like, I wonder why they didn't say hello. And then I was like, oh, that explains it.
She like waved to them on her way in. She was like,
I was
hi,
very friendly.
It's nice to meet you. I'm so excited to be here.
No, I
know. I'm
didn't.
just saying, like, that kind of energy, I'm sure.
So
No.
okay.
But just, I imagine that's the energy you gave them. Like that was my dad and my uncle or something that you were saying.
Yeah, it's like, that's what I thought.
And I look behind her and I see these two men just sitting there. And I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
You and your mom still laugh
Oh
about
my God. I told my mom and we were dead. We were so
you guys
dead.
still laugh about
that. Was just so funny. I was like,
God. Leave it alone. I'll never hear enough from it. I won't.
No. So that's how we met. We started playing music together, and it was beautiful. It was so much fun. We fell in love through music, and we ultimately realized that, you know, looking back, we fell in love creating together. Because then, after we started making music, I stumbled upon photography because I took the little Canon DSLR that we would film ourselves singing with, and I just took it with me to the park one day, and I took like a couple of photos of her just testing this camera out for photos because I had only just put it on video mode. And
you got a lot of praise.
Yeah, and I posted these photos on social media, and like all it took was one person to be like,
good job,
this is good. And I was like, this is my life now.
You go from one thing to the next real fast.
Yeah. Say less. This is my entire personality.
Yes.
What is music anymore, even?
Like, Anna, you're going to be my model.
Yeah.
So I was his model for a while. Like, we would go to coffee shops together. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I would be your little model, and we would post the pictures.
Yeah. We would plan entire dates around photo shoots.
Yes,
so she would get super cute. We would go location scout. We would get there like an hour early just to see like where we would go and go drink our coffee first. Or we would take the photos and then go into the coffee shop and edit, review the photos, and then go take more photos.
That was fun.
It was. I want to do stuff like that again.
Me too.
And travel and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we started doing that so much and got really good at it. Like, I mean, I started to really dive deep into like understanding cameras and flash and all that.
Me.
Yeah, and well, before then, that's when I started to get recognition from a lot of people and getting inquiries for, hey, can you take my kids' photos? Can you take my quinceañera photos? And then people started offering me money, and I was like,
say less.
Oh, this a whole thing now. Yeah. Nobody used to pay me to sing before.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, nobody. I never got paid to sing. So the moment that it turned into like, hey, you're doing really cool stuff with this camera gear that you got, let me pay you.
Yeah.
And that completely started like my entrepreneurial heart, where I was like, oh shit, you're telling me that I can have fun with something that I love and make money with it?
Yeah.
Okay, what's a day job again? Like, I don't know about that.
And once you started doing it, and, you know, I was noticing how much fun he was having, you decided to teach me.
Yep.
And I learned it. I fell in love with it too. And then he started learning video, and then he taught me video.
Yep.
And editing and all that stuff. And so while he was working, I would be at home editing.
Yep.
Well, let me back up a little bit because I did have a job, but I quit because it was a very toxic work environment.
I made her quit.
Yeah, he literally made me quit, and I didn't even put it in my 2 weeks.
No, because her manager at the restaurant that she was working with was a fucking asshole. And if you're watching this, you were an asshole, dude.
Oof,
I hope you're not anymore. I hope you changed. But back then, you were doing some really foul stuff.
But that's okay because I would not be where I am today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So thank you, actually,
thank you.
asshole.
Yeah.
Thank you for being who you are, because honestly, that was really she called me crying and told me what this man had told her, what this older man had told her. And I was like, you're done. You're done there, and I'm going to pour everything I know into you.
Yeah.
I was like, you're going to know everything I know because you're never going to have to work for someone like this again. You're going to start making your own money with the skills
you did say that.
Yeah, I was like, you're going to make your own fucking money. And if you want to work, cool. But if you don't, or if you just want to supplement and have another job on the side or balance it however you want, but you're not going back to that place.
Yep.
And
so I worked my butt off. I worked my butt off learning how to do video. Whenever he worked at Children's, like, obviously he couldn't really be on the phone with me to walk me through how to do, filming and or editing wedding films. So what you would do after work is you would make Google Docs.
Yeah, I would make
tutorials on how to hey, this is step-by-step process of how you do what is it called?
Speed ramp.
Speed ramp.
Yeah.
I remember that one was really difficult for me to learn.
Yeah.
But I finally got a hold of it because of your documents that you wrote.
Yeah, I would literally create SOPs.
Yeah.
And instructions on
that's what you know.
At
Children's, that's what you learned.
Yeah, I have a background in call centers and training people. And so I literally was teaching Anna everything I knew, and it was awesome. You grew so fast. I was so proud of you. I've built a machine. And then we started growing our wedding film business. And
the Lover's Crest.
The Lover's Crest. Yeah. Oh, my God.
First, it was A La Luna.
Yeah, La Luna with Marco and Michelle.
And then after that, we kind of branched off and rebranded both of us.
Yeah.
We're the Lover's Crest.
Yeah. And our wedding film brand started growing so much that it got to the point where I was able to quit my full-time job, and it was so scary.
Yeah.
I had been working full-time as a call center agent in the medical field for 10 years, and it was all I knew. I was, up to becoming a manager, which would have put me at 6 figures, and I let it all go. And I said, you know what? I think this other thing that I learned and pursued has grown enough to where I can make something of it. Yeah. And maybe I don't, but I think that the regret of not trying would have been a bigger weight on my shoulders.
Gosh, could you imagine? Yeah. I remember, even for me, quitting was really difficult. In the very beginning, I was really excited, and not gonna lie, I took a huge break.
You did. You chilled.
I chilled for a good 2 weeks, probably. Yeah. Just playing video games.
Yeah.
And, being lazy. Because this is something that I've never experienced before. I was always having a set schedule coming into work, things like that, and I was just like, hell yeah, this is the life. I get to work from home and all this stuff. And then I remember, if it wasn't for you, because you would come home from work and be like, what are you doing?
What did you do today?
What did you learn today? And I would probably just make up something I learned how to do this.
Well, to be fair, sometimes we need a break.
Yes.
Just take a quick breather from all the crap that you had to go through with that manager.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, our business grew. I quit. And then ever since then, we've just been growing our business in a bunch of different ways.
So
one thing about us is we're not afraid to shift gears.
Yeah, because we know we can always make it happen.
Yeah.
Always. We've done it before. We could do it again.
Every time in anything we do.
Yeah.
And I think we're not afraid to reinvent ourselves. a lot of people might look at us and be like, they were doing this and now they're doing that.
Yeah,
and now
like
doing
y'all
this.
are changing it up way too much.
And-
it's like,
Yeah, and I feel like we love to be inspired, and once the work that we thought we wanted to do starts to feel not inspiring, we're like, we're gonna change things because I don't know. I feel like life isn't worth continuing to do something.
You only got one life to live.
Yeah.
You better live it to the fullest.
Exactly.
Do something that you love to do. Don't just work because it makes you money.
Exactly.
Because in the end, you're not going to be happy and you're not going to enjoy your life.
Yeah.
So.
And, you know, I know that we could always stick to one thing and we'll work it out and like eventually
really
grow
good.
it. Yeah. But
when there's no passion there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then things get boring after a while. You kind of want to spice things up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
So all that to say, we've done a lot. After our photography business started turning into filmmaking, then we turned
COVID hit.
And then COVID hit. Oh, actually, yeah. So that's a whole
how
story.
We got into studios, but that's for a different podcast.
Yeah, that's for a different podcast.
This is for wedding stuff. So.
Yeah, so we'll wrap it up here. Our story is we fell in love through music. We ended up falling in love with photography. We ended up falling in love for filmmaking, and then COVID hit. Lost our filmmaking business.
Changed our
business to renting out photography studios, and that is currently our legacy.
Sole income.
Yep. Yeah. Everyone knows us for that.
Yep.
We have some awesome studios. We're doing some huge things with them, and we're super excited for the journey in that direction. But let's now talk about our wedding planning.
All right, let's go.
All right.
So what's the first thing?
So the first thing is we're going to share our initial feelings and emotions and thoughts about starting the wedding planning process. Let's discuss what we're most excited about and any nervous or apprehensive feelings that we have.
I don't have nothing nervous or nothing like that.
I'm nervous for my speech.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. I could see, because for me, I'm like, oof, like, what do I say in a vow? I am very good at like expressing my love through like emotion, but with words, oof, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta probably have to have somebody professional write this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
You love words though.
Yeah, I love words. So my nervousness is like, I need to make sure that these words I say have everybody in tears. And have everyone laughing.
Yeah.
And that it's the greatest speech of all time. I want people clapping that weren't even there. They're like somewhere else in the world.
Like onlookers.
Yeah, or no, like just like my speech is gonna be so good that once I'm done, people on the other side of the world are just gonna be like, why? I don't know why I'm clapping, but it feels right. Everybody in the world is just gonna like.
And then everybody's just.
You're not going to know why, but when it happens and you just start clapping out of nowhere.
It's because of his speech.
It's my speech. If you cry, I'm sorry, but that's what's going to happen. But I am nervous about that because like, I know I'm going to definitely give my vows a lot of time and attention and say like the right thing. And I have plenty of time to think of it. I don't want to procrastinate that like I did for asking you to marry me.
Well, that was still a damn good
speech, but I didn't like
the
way I had to write it though. Cause like I procrastinated and overthought and I wrote it the night before. And so I was up late and I was thinking about it and I didn't get a good night's sleep. And, you know, I want to be rested on that day. I don't want to wait until last minute with this. So I definitely want to give myself enough time. But what I'm nervous about is like my emotions coming up because
I'm gonna love when you cry.
I know.
I want you to cry.
I know, but I want my delivery to not be as shaky. Not that I'm saying that when I proposed to you that there was anything wrong with it. I know I loved it too, but I don't know.
I like it when your voice shakes because it's like I'm crying.
I mean, I'm gonna cry. I'm a crier.
Yeah.
If there's anything, oh my God, I'm gonna cry my ass off when you're like coming down the aisle. Are you kidding? Oh my, I'm gonna have mocos. Fucking just like I'm gonna need.
Well, don't have bugs.
I can't promise that.
Oh, that's not going to be very photogenic.
Don't take pictures.
Okay.
Just wait.
Somebody's gotta.
No, I won't be that bad. But I definitely know I'm totally going to tear up. But I want to keep my composure enough to where like I can get through the words I want to say without like doing too much crying. I'm a cry. But like I just want to
Be able to like
Yeah.
do that for 1 second. And
Because when I start typing, even now, like if I'm just typing something like really emotional or like really powerful, whether it's in like my journal.
Or you hear something beautiful.
Yeah. I could watch a movie and like the dialogue is really powerful and like just, draws a lot of like feeling. I fucking cry through movies.
Yeah.
And I get like teary-eyed. I love it too.
It's so funny for me because it's like, I have never been a crier, like ever in my whole life. Like I cry when I get frustrated or if it's more like frustration cries. It's very hard for me to cry emotionally. I don't know why that is. Unless I bottle it all up and then all of a sudden it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but that's just always been me.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always been a big feeler.
I wish I was though.
I allow myself to like, especially, I don't know, I think it started with movies because for me, I love movies and I get so invested into them and the characters and the stories and like the words especially. And when somebody says something really fucking badass, I'm like, yeah, and like I run around. And then when somebody says something really like, powerful and emotional, I allow myself to feel those words like in the fucking pit of my soul, like so far into my soul where I'm like, I'm crying. I'm going to cry. I'm tearing up right now. I will sob right now. That was beautiful. And I want to replay it 5 times because those were some beautiful fucking words.
Yeah, I love the way when you watch like movies and stuff, you get very passionate about it.
I do. I fucking do. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to dance with you two.
Oh yeah, that's a really big one that I'm excited about.
I'm excited about the songs we're gonna pick.
Yeah,
because we fell in love through music. So there's a shit ton of songs.
You gonna sing to me?
I don't know. I haven't sang in so long.
We should sing together. That'd be so cute.
We're gonna have to practice.
Is this love?
Oh yeah, that one's really good that we do. All right, so let's move on to
venue hunting.
Venue hunting. Anna started looking for
I
venues.
started looking for
She
venues.
found one that is quite perfect. What's it called, Anna?
It's called Magnolia Terrace, and it's in Frisco, Texas. We were originally thinking of a beach wedding in Florida, but we just figured it would be a lot easier for our friends and family to join us. It's like I said, it's going to be a small one. So I want to make sure that most people can join this wedding. So we just decided to make it easier for them. And
we also want Kai.
And yeah, that's a really big one too, is I want Kai to be there. He's going to be our ring pup.
Yes, he is.
Because he's a really big part of our life and I want him to be there.
Yeah.
So.
He takes offense to the word ring bearer. He says, I'm not a bear. So we're going to call him a ring pupper.
Yeah.
Per his request.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's the ring pupper. So yeah, this is the venue. This is the outdoor space. Mm-hmm. So beautiful. I love the
ceiling.
The ceiling, yeah.
That way you can actually get married outside during any type of weather.
Right.
So it's really cool. And as you can see, they have dogs.
Mm-hmm. They allow dogs. And then they have these string lights up above for nighttime, which
so cute.
I love the way that looks. Yep. Oh, that's such a good photo. Oh, that's pretty. I didn't even know they had this right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
This is like the
I
best
love
one.
that.
It's so cute.
Yeah. And it's also small and intimate.
Yeah.
We're only going to have 20, 30 people?
20, 30 people, yeah.
And so we don't want to go with a venue that's going to be huge and kind of awkward, because we only have
it's gonna
a few
just
people.
feel impersonal.
So this is the one that we're going to tour on Friday of next week.
Yep. We're definitely going to post about it and tell you guys what we feel, like how our feelings are about it, if we're going to book it, if we're, seeing something else that we really caught our eye and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's another venue that is also really pretty, but the con is it's just really big. But it's like around the same price range.
What's it called?
400 North Hervey.
Oh, the one downtown?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's cool. Oh, that is so cool.
But do you see how big it is?
That is huge.
It's a little too big for me.
Damn, but that's so nice. Oh man. Can you imagine some drone footage?
I know.
Oh shit.
It's gorgeous, but it's going to swallow us.
Man, I wouldn't mind being swallowed by this venue. It sounds so weird. This is gorgeous.
No, it is.
The only downside to this is that we live in Plano.
Yeah. And
And
then all of the people would have to go to Dallas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not the worst part. The worst part is
Parking
Kai.
in that too.
Like, if Kai's going to be a part of the wedding,
Yeah.
someone would have to, like,
that's the biggest one.
drive him from Dallas back to Plano here in our house.
Yeah.
Or to Frisco to your parents' house. So we might have to, like, ask someone from the wedding to leave and then come back. That would be a whole,
They
like...
would never do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them to either, because if they're
No.
invited, they're
I would
someone
not.
important.
If they're going to be drinking, no.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no way.
Maybe we can send him in an Uber.
No. What the heck? No.
But yeah, so we'll definitely keep you guys updated on the venue hunting.
So far, those are the two.
Yeah, that's really all the research that we've done, right? We've started...
No. I've done a lot of research. It's just, number one, they're either out of our price range, or number two, they're just huge, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and they're just too big for 20 people.
Yeah.
Low-key, there should be more event venues that cater to small micro weddings, because that's the future.
Yeah, I think so. Or, you know, I still think that there's definitely a place for larger weddings.
For
but,
sure. There's
you know,
a lot of big wedding venues.
But like
around.
cute, small, intimate venues, that's definitely a pocket that somebody could, you know, get into and do really well in.
Yeah.
Cool. So then, you know, we have started talking about potential photographers, videographers. We're still not sure what we want to do with that. Because again, we are photographers and videographers. So
I'm so picky.
We are quite picky.
I don't like that I'm so picky.
Yeah.
But I am.
Because like we have that thing about us where we're like, fuck, we can just do it ourselves.
Yeah,
but we don't
no, I don't want to do
I know.
that.
No. I don't mean like that. Like that's a thought that we've had. I'm just saying like we could do it ourselves and do a really good job. So we want someone to do a really good job that we pick, right? So I don't know. I think that's going to be one of the most challenging things for us
to pick somebody, because we do have a lot of very, very talented photographer friends.
Yeah.
Too. My I guess my biggest thing is that I don't want them to feel some type of way if we pick somebody and they're not the one that's picked.
Yeah. You we know a lot of photographers.
That's like my biggest like.
Oh yeah,
I'm
like
scared, you know?
like one of our friends seeing that we picked another one of our friends and then being like, "Oh, they went with her. Like, is she better? Am I not good?" Like
exactly.
It's not that.
We don't. We wish we could have all of you.
Yeah. Honestly, if y'all want to do a styled shoot at our wedding where everybody takes photos at the same time.
Styled, what? No.
I'm just kidding. But just can you imagine, like, we feel so awkward about choosing just one that we're like, sorry, all of you can come. 50 of our photographer, you know, connections, they're all just there, like, taking photos.
And then same with the videographers, too. We know a lot of really good ones. But, man, that's going to be really hard to choose.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to film our wedding?
Yeah. That's a tough one.
That's a really tough one.
Yeah.
That one I'm ultra picky about.
That should be a whole podcast episode.
Like ultra fucking picky about that.
I know. Well, if you're listening to this and we reach out to you as our photographer and videographer,
I don't want that. Don't say don't think that we're like
nightmare clients.
No, we're not. We're not nightmare like I don't know how to explain. I don't know.
We just
I'm very passionate.
We provide really good quality work and really good quality experience to our customers. And so we're really good at directing. We're really good at posing. We're really good at communication. And
I feel like that too.
Yeah.
But also like, if we reach out to you, it's because you're freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And like, we trust you. Like, you're not going to hear us micromanaging you.
No.
Like literally, we're just like, we know so many great videographers that we don't know who to reach out to first.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. I feel like we know so many great ones that it's really hard for us to pick because they're all so good. And we're like, oh my gosh, we're having to pick from like the creme of the creme de la creme.
Creme de la creme.
The creme de la creme. And so we're being kind of snobby in the fact that we're very lucky that we know so many awesome creators.
Yes, it's like, who do we choose?
Yeah. I mean, we have photography studios, right? So like we literally have a ton of people that we've met over the years. And so now we have like this wealth of knowledge of like the top tier photographers. And we have like a silver platter of like, damn, we got to choose between all these people. How are we going to do this?
But I promise you, if we reach out to you, it's because we know that you're going to do a great job. And so we're never, ever going to be like, I don't like this. I don't like that. change this, change that. It's because like we trust you fully.
Yeah, for
So,
sure. For sure.
Yeah. Just put that out there.
And then we're going to start thinking about like event decorators. And,
Oh, yeah.
you
Got a few
know,
of those in mind also.
Yeah. Catering.
Catering. Well, I don't know many caterers, to be honest. We'd have to figure that out.
Oh, for cake, we already know.
Cake, we already know.
We already know.
Yeah.
We already
we've done
know.
wedding styled shoots, so we're familiar with a lot of vendors, which
Yeah,
helps a lot
for
because
sure.
we're having our wedding here. If it was in Florida,
It'd be
we
different.
would be starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So
that's the extent of our wedding planning right now that we're going to discuss. So let's jump into the questions and then we will wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is cute questions. The first cute question that we're going to answer is, what's your favorite memory of us that still makes you smile?
I remember one night when we were filming a wedding. We came home after a really long day of being there doing the film for the couple. We come home so tired. We drove probably like an hour or two away, and we came home. We got high, and we danced in the bedroom, and we were just loving each other and looking at each other and just embracing one another. Do you remember that?
In the video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were
just
just laughing
dancing.
and dancing, and that was a great way to end the night.
Yeah.
We were able to, share the moment of celebrating another couple's life of, being married.
Yeah.
And we came home and just started to embrace each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and dancing.
Mhm.
You know what? I remember that we started dancing that night.
Yeah.
Because I told you that when I watched the couple dancing together, I imagined what it would be like for our first dance. And I remember getting teary-eyed when I thought that at the wedding. And I was like, wow, this is such a beautiful moment. I'm going to do that with Anna one day. And this was before I had proposed to you. And then you were like, oh my God, that's so sweet. Come here. Let's dance right now. Let's pretend. Yeah. So we have that beautiful video. I think that was like one of the first moments where, I kind of started hinting at marriage and like thinking about you.
When was that? That was like 2019, I think.
Yeah,
probably.
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite memory of us that still makes you smile?
I think one of my favorite memories of us is when I surprised you for Valentine's Day.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I just shared that the other day too. Whoa! Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That felt like a dream.
Yeah. That was really fun.
You totally tricked me.
I went out of my way to...
You had your boss email.
Yeah. Oh, man. I went above and beyond for this, like, surprise. Yeah. I told my boss to send me a fake email telling me that I had to stay late for work so that I couldn't hang out with you on Valentine's Day. And I was like, I'm so sorry. My boss is an asshole. He's making me stay late on Valentine's Day. I'll have to wait to hang out with you tomorrow and like whatever. And you were very sweet and understanding. And so you thought you weren't going to see me on Valentine's Day. But all the while, she was at work.
Everybody at my work knew.
Yeah, oh yeah, I got her coworkers in on it. I was like, hey, you better tell me when she leaves. Yeah. I was like, you better tell me when she leaves. I need to know exactly how much time I've got.
He cut me first.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, you can leave. Yeah. And I was like, really? This early? And he's like, yeah, you just gotta go. And then Lindsay, when she worked with me, she was like, okay, let's go to Razoo. I was like, I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And then that's why in the video I was like, does Lindsay know? Does Lindsay know? She does? How did you tell her?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm supposed to be going with her.
Yeah.
Like,
I made plans. This is great and
all,
but
I didn't want her waiting on me. I just felt bad, and like you totally surprised me, and I was like, "Does Lindsay know? How did she know?"
You were like how we are now with like people who show up to their sessions on the wrong day. This isn't on the calendar. You got the days wrong on this.
No, of course I was like, oh my God. Like I walked in the room, obviously, you know, at the time we were living with my family, and my mom was there and my brother was there. They both knew that you were in my room. Like, you had everything prepped, and I was like, oh, like, you know, telling them good night, you know, I'm going to go see Lindsay or whatever. And then I had a beer in my hand because I was like trying to relax before I was waiting for her to get off work too, because she was working with me. And then you were in there with your guitar and the microphone, and there was rose petals everywhere and balloons and little tea light candles. And I was like, oh my God. Like, it was just like such a surreal moment, and it felt like a total dream.
Yeah.
You totally surprised me.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that I had ever had anybody do something that sweet. That, you know, they went out of their way to do something like that for me.
I miss doing stuff like that.
You know what? That's the moment I knew I wanted to marry you.
Really?
For sure. For sure.
That made me so happy seeing you so happy. I got you a bath bomb. And
oh my God, that was the best. And it had real rose petals in it.
Yeah, so I drew a bath for you, and then I had for me. I had candles around the tub and and I had wine, and then I played guitar while she was soaking in the tub.
Oh my goodness, honey.
That was a really, really good moment.
It was.
All right, next question. What's one quirky habit of mine that you love?
Okay, here's one. So every single morning when we wake up, it never fails, because he sleeps with us in the bed, and he goes 3, 2, 1, and immediately I know when you say that, I'm like, all right, I know what's going down right now.
Well,
and in sync we go.
Well, hold on. But before we do it, so every morning Anna and I wake up, and we, you know, say good morning to each other and like give each other hugs. And we're kind of like just whispering to each other and asking each other how we slept.
Yeah.
Kai is like knocked out. Yep. He's just like, it's not my time.
Yeah,
and so he never ever wakes up in that period.
Yep.
And so once we're finally ready to wake up.
Start getting up.
Yeah, that's when I'm like, all right.
3, 2, 1.
Close enough. Normally he'll howl with us, and he'll like come out from under the covers, shake, and then he'll start trying to attack us with kisses, because that's how he thinks he's gonna shut us up. And then he'll just stay back for a little bit and then just start howling his little heart out.
Oh my God. Yeah, so that's definitely a quirky habit of yours.
I do it every morning. I love waking him up that way.
Yeah, it's the sweetest.
Yeah, and then once he's done, or no, once we feel like he's howled enough for us to stop, then we'll stop, and then we'll be like, "That was so good,
like, that was so good.
That was a good howl. Good morning, howl." And then we'll let him lick all over us, and he will lick our faces for like.
Want to get down?
Yeah. He'll
like, all right, let's go.
Kai is a licking machine in the morning. He will not.
He heard me say, "Let's go." What's one quirky habit of mine that you love?
I love all of your funny, cute little voices that you make.
Like what?
Like.
Timmy. I got you. You want to go somewhere? Huh?
That one. And then when you talk like Kai.
That's not what I'm supposed to do. My name is Kai, and I really like to go on long walks and poop and sniff the ground and be nice.
And then you make random little tunes out of nowhere, so you'll go. Or
I didn't make that song up.
I know,
that's Andy Griffith, because my mom watches it.
That one, and then you always go.
Oh yeah, I go.
And like all these noises, there's so many more. All these noises.
Is that ADHD, babe? I gotta make noise.
They're just random. Like I'll just be working, and then out of nowhere, just like. It just like unprompted. No one's talking to her. Nothing is like. Another quirk that I love is all the names that you give Kai.
Oh, yeah.
What are his names? Goofin?
I have Goofin. Hey, Cobblestone.
Cobblestone?
Penny.
Benny.
Ben.
Clyde Warren Park. Kai is probably so confused.
I know.
No,
he'll answer with anything. It's just,
He's just like, I am everything.
Yeah. No, literally.
He has like a little identity crisis. He's like, who am I? I'm Kai.
What's my real name?
Cobblestone. The Moofin. We call him Moofin. Moof Roof.
Yeah.
Oh, my cheeks are hurting. How do you know that we are ready to be married?
Because we have been through a lot of hardships already in our relationship. And, hardships is in we've lost our business so many different times.
Yeah.
That's a really big thing. Because financial difficulties obviously set in, and it was never a problem within the relationship. I feel like if anything, it grew our relationship a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Because we shared those hard times and we grew really strong because of it.
Yeah.
And I also think because we openly communicate with one another, and we there's never any animosity towards one another, and we never argue. We're always trying to understand each other's point of view. We're very open with things. And I think that the best thing in a marriage is making sure that you can openly communicate with one another, and just being on the same page, and learning from each other, and making sure that you're becoming the best version of yourself, and I'm, pushing you to be that, and vice versa. You know? So how do you know that we are ready for marriage?
I know that we are ready for marriage because we have discovered a way to work through difficult situations and do so in a very productive way.
Yeah.
In a way that makes us both feel safe.
Yep.
In a way that makes us both feel understood and validated. And in a way that we can both leave the table knowing that we can grow together through anything. And so we've cultivated a relationship that allows us to nurture each other and to also ask for nourishment in areas that we might feel are, lacking.
Yeah.
And we're able to ask each other and bring things up that I feel like a lot of other relationships would struggle to bring up and talk about.
Without getting in an argument.
Or
bringing up the past.
Or getting angry or feeling like you're judging or being judged.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to marry you. Because this relationship and what it does for me is something that I don't ever want to lose.
I don't ever want to lose that either, babe.
I don't want to lose the ability to have someone at my side that is helping me grow and wants the best for me.
Of course.
And is on the same page in terms of hey, we don't fight in this relationship.
Yeah.
Frustration and anger and and just uneasy feelings of turmoil from within. If I can't voice them properly to where they make sense and I feel like I'm able to express them and feel heard and validated and seek to grow with you, then I don't want to say anything at all until I'm ready. And that's something that you helped me grow and learn. And that's something that I will always forever cherish. You are my teacher in that. I may have taught you photography. I may have taught you videography. I may have taught you all these other things that I, jokingly say, hey, you're my protege. And I'm still better than you because I taught you. And all those silly things that we say about those things. But this relationship is your doing. You are the foundation of all of this, because in the beginning of our relationship, I was not who I am today. I was very much selfish. I would not talk through things. I was extremely my way or the highway type of mentality. And you have helped me grow as a person to understand that it doesn't have to be that way.
No.
That we can talk about things and love each
Yeah.
other and grow and want the best for one another and do everything that we want to within our relationship in a way that feels safe.
Yep.
In a way that
Productive.
feels loving, productive, with growth in mind. And that's how I know that we are definitely ready for marriage. So anything that comes our way,
we're ready for
we're
it.
ready.
Yeah, we've probably been through it all almost.
Yeah,
so.
well, we don't know.
Yeah.
But what we do know is that we have the right tools and the right framework to meet those things.
That's right.
And do something about them that will only make us better. And so I love you. And thank you so much for having this podcast with me. I know it got longer than, we wanted to, but
okay.
ultimately,
I enjoyed it all.
I know, me too. Imagine 20 years from now, we're looking back.
I know, we're totally going to enjoy this. It's going to be so cute, isn't it?
We got our voice. We got our voice in fucking crispy quality. And we got our faces in fucking 4K quality.
Yeah. Look at us, babe.
In good lighting. Aww. You look so beautiful.
You look so handsome. Look at you.
Thank you. I love you, and I will see you on the next podcast.
See you soon.
I'll see you
down the
aisle. At the wait, no, what do they say? I'll see you at the altar.
I'll see you at the altar.
I'll see you at the altar.
So that's when I slid into his DMs.
I honestly didn't think I had a chance. I think we should tell the story of the first day that you came over.
God. You're going to embarrass me.
I got to love me before I try to look for love from someone else